Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. Before we get into the market, it's just something I wanted to cover and make sure that we clear that up. Since this weekend's stock pick weekly video, I have not taken any new positions in long-term trades yet, just because market is still in the pullback phase, and wanted to make sure, where the market looks like, what the market looks like, and I want to be waiting for that most ideal entry. And that's why I mentioned in the start of the weekend stock pick video that it's not the best time to start the new series of stock pick, but those are going to be the tickers that are going to remain on top watch as the market pulls back, finding whether it's a daily lower low, daily higher low kind of thing. As of the way it looks right now, SPX is looking like it's going to make, right now is daily lower low, looking for lower high into another lower low. All right, so let's get into the market. And there's a few tickers that quite a few tickers we wanted to go through today. Okay, let's get into it. First one, SPX. So SPX, we are looking, as mentioned on last week's video, we are looking at the daily higher low, daily lower low. Depending on how you look at it, I look at this as a one move, and this is a 4-hour higher low. So as of right now, this is a daily higher low, and we are seeing some indecision as of today. And after hours, we are up ever so slightly, 0.2%. Big bull volume today, lots of chop. If we go into the shorter time frame, we can see market open or pre-market is buy up, and then as soon as market opened, it dropped hard. Then from there, we're seeing a bounce, and let's just quickly check this. We're right at GP, stalling at GP right now. After hours, potentially going over the GP, as right now we are a little bit bullish. But what I'm looking at is from here, I am still looking at this area for most ideal entry, which is the GP lining up with the long-term trend line, lining up with this previous high resistance, which became support once. So I want to see a back test of this area. This would be the most ideal entry. I'm noticing potentially a short-term trend line here. Nope, we did not touch. So based on this, because we did not touch and we're not seeing a strong bounce after, the potential of if we were to touch this and bounce from there, it would make a case for this being the daily higher low. But because we didn't touch, the bounce is not strong, I will be looking at lower prices to come on SPX, SPY, whichever ETF that you look at, whichever index you look at. So the anticipation is going to be something like that. Okay, try that again. Up to the daily 8, coming back down to somewhere around there. So that is what I'm looking at over the next few days. Keep in mind as well that this week is option expiry week, meaning the monthly options are looking to expire by Friday, as well as quad witching hour. So we will be looking at potential for increased volatility going into the last hour of Friday. Good week to just sit on the side, good week to just look at the market, get an idea of where it's going. The most ideal entry, I am looking at this, and I'm very excited for it. 90% cash, ready to take advantage of this. Now, of course, there is always that possibility that we're just going to V-shape into previous highs. So we'll call that scenario number 2. Potential of V-shaping into previous highs before a rejection coming back down. So if that is the case, let's actually redraw this. If that is the case, we come back up to the previous high before a hard rejection, and we'll be looking at more so around maybe the 0.5 kind of thing. So a couple possible scenarios. Regardless, I am looking at GP 0.5 for entry versus right now. Today was a decent bull play, and we did catch part of it. And we're looking at the 0.5 bounce today, and we saw a decent move from that. Now, next is NAS. we're not going to do a market deep dive. There's nothing too significant in the market today, so we're just going to quickly look over the market overall. NAS right now is relatively strong. If we're looking at the pullback wise, we have not even touched the 0.382 yet. Part of the reason why we played the bounce today is not only the SPX at 0.5, but also looking at this NAS, we were anticipating a bounce from this short-term bounce from this previous resistance of 15,368, and that's exactly what we got today. Today being an indecision candle, doji. Next day, tomorrow, we'll look for what happens tomorrow. No specific bullish or bearish scenario on NAS, but let's see, it could be, depending on how long this drags out, we could be looking at somewhere over here now, because NAS pullback was not nearly as strong as the rest of the market. The original ideal entry of 0.5 is no longer there, so NAS could remain strong going forward, and we'll discuss QQQ over IWM shortly as well. So before then, we're going to take a look at Rus today. Rus, we saw a bounce from near that 0.5. So we're looking at original entry about here, 0.5 lining up with that previous support resistance. We can see support here, support here, support here again, and sort of chopped around here. So it's not exactly a very significant area of support and resistance, but it does line up with the 0.5. Now, in the case that we do lose this, we could potentially be looking at another bottom here. So it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already on this bottom. That price of 2113 roughly around that area, 2100, 21, what's the highest here? 2114. That'd be the area that we're looking at. Should probably redraw that key zone there. Anyways, so with this, what I'm looking at for possible scenario on Rus. Let's see. It's a bounce up here, down here. So that could still be the case. We are still looking at a possible scenario of this. That would still line up, and that makes sense. All right, next is Dow. Today we saw, I think Dow was the strongest today, and thus, if you're looking at reopening stocks such as MAR, which we're going to discuss, Boeing, AAL, CCL, they were all relatively strong. Even Airbnb with the gap down, but there's a dip being bought. So with Dow seeing the strongest bull move today, what my anticipation on Dow looks like would be going from here. Let's see, 1, 2 days. That would make sense. Coming back down. This GP doesn't line up with anything. Let's actually determine the area first. So 0.5. Okay, so 0.5 does line up with this high here, which we see support as well, support. So that could make sense. What we could be looking at from here would be a move up to backtest this long-term, or technically short-term, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supports. Now that we've lost it, we could be looking at a retest before coming back down to the confluence area of 0.5 as well as previous support resistance. Is there anything else that lines up? Generally, there should be, with that kind of area, there should be a third confluence. There. So we'll call this a long-term trend lines. This is the short term. This is the money line that's already been lost. So we could be looking at something like this on Dow. That would be the anticipation. So that's it for the market. Actually, no, my apologies. There is QQQ IWM I wanted to cover. So with this QQQ IWM, we're looking at still holding that trend line as a support. Only one slight close over it. The next day immediately bought up into new highs at 1.73 rejection from the GP. So today it was Rus was stronger than Dow. Sort of hovering. It's getting really tight in here. So as it gets really tight, we would anticipate a break either way. Given that it's a rising wedge, the more likely break will be bear, meaning QQQ or rush should be stronger than QQQ going forward, but I can see this going for another high before breaking bear, coming down to this previous support resistance right around here. So I'll be keeping a very close eye on this going forward for the next week, going to the end of the week, and potentially next week as well. All right. Next, most crucial, a lot of people love to watch this crypto. We're looking at Bitcoin US dollars. So what's happening here? US dollar Bitcoin, we're looking at a rejection from GP, a harsh rejection from GP, and we're now trading under the daily 8 daily bear flag, holding that money line. Yeah, holding that money line, which we saw previous multiple support, and then back tested as resistance. And now we're seeing double supports, double bounces from there again. So the anticipation on Bitcoin, I would anticipate further downward price action to come, at least into the 0.5 area. This key zone, previous resistance. Yeah, so this would make sense. So we'll be looking at somewhere around there. And that did not work. We'll be looking at somewhere around there. Let's mark a resistance around there. Rejection. Yeah, makes sense. So 408.41 will be around the area that I'm looking for. Even if we get a bounce, if you're in bull position, even if you get a bounce from this 0.5 previous support resistance area, it would be ultimately still strong bullish action, because it's going to be a bounce from the 0.5. Anything from above the GP is considered strong. All right, and next is HIVE. So HIVE scenario that we're looking at is still playing out. Last time we looked at it was, it's Monday, Friday, Thursday. Last time we looked at it was on Thursday. Oh yeah, last week was long weekend. So, or the weekend before was long weekend. So Tuesday, Thursday we made videos. So last time we looked at it was Thursday's video, and anticipation is to come down to this top of the key zone, which lines up with what we're looking at for Bitcoin. And next is MAR. So notable relative strength today. Oh, that's actually really nice. I stopped paying attention to the market before the market closed, probably about half an hour early today. So did not notice this last minute move up. Because if we look at the 30-minute, I think exit. I stopped looking at it about somewhere around here. But this is a nice move towards the end of the day, increasing bull volume. And we did get, oh, let's look at that 30-minute again. Wow. What an amazing back test. This is a beauty. MAR. We're looking at the very minimum 142 for that next leg move up. 1-to-1 extension target would make sense, because we didn't come to the GP. 131.71, 131.66. Okay, so it'll be around there, and it would be 1-to-1 extension. Okay, so it does line up. We are looking at 1-to-1 extension lining up with that GP, going to be around the just under 142, and with notable support resistance as well at 142.15 previously. So support. This can probably go a little bit lower, but you get the idea. Support again before finally breaking down, and then chopped around, became resistance, rejection again here on the bounce. So 142 makes sense on MAR. There's not a whole lot of room for entry from here on long entry. So what I'm going to start using, going to try to use, stop would be down here. Profit taking, yeah, risk to reward not really making sense here. Unless you're looking at, wait, what is this line from? Oh, okay. Give me one sec, guys. Let's sort this drawing out here. There should be another resistance around along here somewhere. Okay, so this might actually make sense. Just under 150. Rejection from bounce, support, rejection again, gapped up. Yeah, 149.78, 149.80, very notable area. So even if we were to move this up, risk to reward, we're looking at 1-to-1. Yeah, doesn't really make sense to be entering from here, especially with that 142 resistance coming up. But with that being said, the reason why it's on hottest ticker is very notable strength in a weak market. We did see almost a double bottom, 127.23, 127.58, and from there we're seeing a daily trend reversal bouncing from above the GP, going over that upper trend line of the previous channel with an immediate back test of this upper trend line. So let's actually extend this out here. It can probably go a little bit higher. Yeah, that would make sense. Somewhere around there. All right. Yeah. So MAR looking nice. You know, if you're looking at an entry, I'd probably wait for the higher low after. See it, watch for a reaction around 142, and then from there wait for a daily higher low before an entry. But the chart looks nice. Next is Tesla. So very notable strength today. Very interesting because we had 3 scenarios worked out here. Looking at either bounce from the 0.382, bounce from the 0.5, which lines up with the money line, and then bounce from the GP, which lines up with the short-term trend line that must hold. And today, in fact, we did get a bounce from the 0.5, but because it came early, the bounce was a lot stronger, and the drop was a lot harder, a lot faster. We were looking at oversold on the hourly, oversold on, yeah, hourly was 20, and I think 15 got to the single digits. Yeah, 15-minute got to, RSI got to 7, and 4 hours was not oversold yet. So the way I'm looking at this now is bounce, 4 hour 8. Tomorrow we'll likely see further bearish action depending on what the market does. If the market turns bull, this is considered relative strength, so we could see continued bullish action from here. But based on the chart, I don't think this is a daily higher low yet. I would still be anticipating something along the line of touch of at least the money line. So 1, 2, so this goes to September 20th, so next Monday, which makes sense with OPEX coming up. All right, next is Airbnb. We saw somewhat relative strength today. Airbnb, we did see a gap down due to downgrade from Goldman into sell a price target of 123, I want to say. Somewhere along there, but it was a significant downgrade, and that's why we saw a gap down. But the dip is being bought on decent volume, and we are bouncing from the 0.5 previous wick. So if I were to draw a wick right here, that is a perfect bounce. High 154.80. Today's low was 154.79, off by 1 cent. They bought the dip. This is actually, yeah. They bought the dip right at that previous resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections. No significant support here. So ultimately, I am still looking at around 152-ish. This very notable area. Multiple rejections. Another rejection here, which then became support again. So tomorrow, if we're to see further bearish action, I will be looking at, I do have an alert set right here about 153.37, just above the price that I'm looking at for a re-entry. Right, next is LULU. So LULU is actually holding up extremely well after the gap up, the earning gap up, sell off, and the next day was the dipping bot doji candle. Today is an inside bar, and we're gonna have to give it a few more days. There is still the potential of going back to the gap fill, but so far I wanted to note this because so far LULU is holding up extremely well after what's happened. Gap up, sell off, holding sideways action. So essentially, if you were to turn on extended hours, this would look like a bull flag on the daily. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd probably give it at least till the end of the week to see what the price action looks like. If the daily catches up and we are seeing support from there, then that would be a very nice bullish entry area. So that's it for the hottest ticker. Next up are the requested tickers. First one is U.UN. Uranium. So uranium, excuse me, uranium has been on a rise, on a rip, just complete rip. So we're looking at U.UN. This one is a trust, Canadian ticker, trust. That's right, U.UN. Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah, Canadian ticker. That's a trust, and from here we have seen a move of 84.5%, 85% so far. Volume looks amazing. There is no sign of climax yet. We saw decreasing bear volume here with now increasing bull volume, a gap up and run. I do see this continue to run. Let's see, 1-to-1 extension. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Nope, no sign of slowing down yet. Okay. Next one we can look at would be from this low to this high to the low of $10. And we're getting past the 1 to 1.618 extension already. So next one is 1 to 2 extension coming up at $20. There's no sign, no reason for exit if you're in the trade. Daily 8 is very clear guide. From here, watch for that volume climax. Something that's going to be higher volume than this. This is a very interesting candle right here, actually. Huge volume, but indecision candle. Next day, decreasing bear volume, but chopping around. So, chart looks great. Now, as we're discussing uranium, there's a couple other ones I wanted to touch base. UUUU. Quad U is another one. This one, sideways action, we're looking at potential of new all-time high coming up. This chart looks a little bit better in the sense that it's a lot more liquid. The market cap, I do believe, is bigger as well, as 1.08 billion versus U.UN is no market cap because it's trust. Okay. So similar idea, no reason for exit yet. There is a indecision candle right here, but there is no volume climax yet. There's no divergences, no reason for exit. 4 hours, even the 4 hours, it's ever so slightly bear divergence. But I would anticipate new all-time high on even the quad U. And let's take a look at this one. This one will be a lot easier. This one is a global uranium ETF. So somewhat like a index for uranium. Will give you a little bit clearer picture. We are seeing almost a shooting star candle, bearish volume. So if we see continuation tomorrow, couple scenarios. If we see continuation tomorrow, I would anticipate a daily higher low to be coming. If we see inside bar tomorrow, or slow sideways, this could very well be a daily bull flag. The exit, the stop, if you are in this trade right now, the stop right now, you should be looking at just under $25. Personally, I would probably place, just to be more conservative, I would probably place it under 26.34. Once it gets past that, it's past the gap fill area. So especially for tomorrow. If we see a drop that much, should see a daily reversal or daily higher low that's going to be coming. Okay, next is ATER. Huge bull move today. Got a couple alerts set on it because I wanted to, it's a ticker that I want to watch because it is somewhat of a meme stock, but I don't really want to trade it right now because looking at this, you know, it's already ran 600%, 528% from $3 all the way up to $19. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so from here, there is no sign of volume climax yet, and it is holding towards that end of day. We are holding that at 30-minute 8, and we saw bull flag confirmation into the day's high before we saw a rejection, but at the end of the day, it came up again. And after hours right now, we are over that. We're high, 4% higher. Okay, so the after hours is quite late. I do believe we did see rejection again in the after hours. And what happened to my extended hours? Did TradingView remove extended hours? Because now I only have log percent adjusted regular. Ah, there we go. Extended. Yeah, so we did see a rejection again. We did get over the high of the day in the after hours, and then we saw a rejection coming back down. Okay, next is POSH. And this one was requested by Namen. Okay, so this is a lot more bearish than the most ideal scenario. The last time we looked at it was August 27th. So more than 2 weeks ago. And the anticipation was coming up to this 0.382 before rejection back down to the GP. But because we didn't even come up to this upper trend line alongside the 0.382, you see how we had the chance. I'm going to remove this alert. You see how we had the chance of coming up, but then it started getting stuffed. And then the next day was a red flag. What you wanted to see was continuation into that trend line, which also lines up with this previous wick here. Then before another rejection, but instead a huge wick formed and big bearish action came in. Bearish. So what this is showing me is not exactly that bears are stronger than bulls because the volume are roughly about the same, but more so the fact that there is a lack of buyers. It's very similar volume, but bulls having problem to push it up while bears easily push it down on similar volume. So with this chart, I would give it more time if you're looking for an entry. So this is new lows. And there is, let's see, 25.62. Okay, so there is a daily bull divergence right now. Price going downwards with RSI going upwards. But it is a very slight, very weak, relatively weak bull divergence on the daily. You're going to need to see a follow through over the next 2 days at least for a close over the daily 8, and watch for that volume, increasing volume. That is the only ideal scenario that I would maybe consider playing this ticker. The safest way to play it would be wait for a break of the upper trend line of this long-term wedge. You see how it's been keeping us down 1, 2, 3 rejections already. On this fourth touch, you should see a break. So the safest play is to wait for a break of this trend line. Next is PTON. I believe it's an inside bar today. Yeah, so it is an inside bar as anticipated today, and bear volume relatively low. I can see higher prices come here. So with this today's candle, the anticipation now is going to be higher. Even with the daily higher low, we'd be looking at around more so around the 0.5, and that would be a lot closer dated now due to today's action. So this would be more so along the lines I'm looking at. PTON looking great. Breakdown of money line, breakdown of GP, lack of follow through, immediate buy up on increasing bull volume with low bear volume now. Chart's looking pretty good on PTON. Should move it to top watch. And last but not least, we're going to discuss marijuana sector. Oh, actually closed red. So marijuana sector has been in a long-term consolidation. The charts are starting to look very nice. Majority of the marijuana sectors did break under the money line just recently. And we're going to need to watch for that support coming in, or even the daily bull divergence. So as the way it stands right now, very significant drop with slight bull divergence. So keep your eyes. This is going to be one of the top watches for going into the end of the year. From now till the end of the year, that I'll be watching. Marijuana sector, when they go, they make good money. All right, so that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Thank you again for subscribing, watching, as well as sharing our channel. We have now seen a decent increase since 200 subscribers, and thank you guys, very much appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next video.